What's up, guys? Welcome back to MyRc channel. There's been a lot of big changes in the MyRc channel. Mostly the location. We were in San Diego and we've since moved to Florida. We now are based out of Port Orange in Florida. I sold off most of my rigs to move out here, and it's been about 6 months since I've been able to RC at all, but I've gotten back into it. I'm starting back out with racing and we'll see where it goes from there. So today we're going to talk about my race rig a little bit and probably some of the stuff that you need to get going in racing, because I've had to build back up from the beginning with the exception of having my setup tools and stuff like that left over. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But first we're going to show you this rig that I picked up. Ooh, there it is. It's a Team Associated TC8 Steel Edition. I got for a score on eBay, assembled but not used. So that was a fantastic deal. That's what actually kind of inspired me to get back into RC again. All right, guys, for this rig, I'm using these Gens Ace 4200 LiPo high volt packs. They are the shorty packs. They're little baby packs. I wanted them to be as light as possible so I'd be able to move the weight around in the car. That turned out to be somewhat of a little bit of a mistake. A little bit bigger pack would have made the car a little bit better balanced, and a higher capacity pack will actually maintain a little better punch throughout your run. So I recommend at least a 5200 pack, maybe even more, to keep these cars balanced, because the motor and the electronics are all on one side. All right, and for the transmitter, I am using the Spektrum IXSR Plus. This thing is super duper fantastic, and I cannot get over how amazing this remote is with its programmability. Million model memory, basically. I think it can have up to 250 or more with the SD card installed, which I did with the SD card in there. So far I only have this one car, so you know, I'm sure that'll change soon because it's RC and we all know how that goes. That's why we have a channel. But this thing is super cool, the way you can go through all the menus and just set every single last parameter to your heart's content. And another cool thing about it, it's an Android operating system, so you can download apps and run them on here. You can even watch YouTube on here if you want to. So if you wanted to pull up my channel, you could watch it on this remote if you really wanted to. So this body came on the kit when I bought it, because I bought it assembled but not used. Just aside, it's such a pretty body, I don't race with it. I actually have a body that I painted up specifically for it. I have my Energy setup wheels on there, Integy setup wheels. And this kit, when I got it, it came with the Hobbywing 21.5, the war compliant 21.5 here, came with the stock spec Hobbywing ESC, and a pretty nice Savox servo. All I had to add to this car was my receiver, my battery pack, and my transponder, which here I'm obviously went with the MyLaps black one. You know, obviously I like the black stuff. The exception of that stuff, I've also added the over-the-air programmer so that I can make quick adjustments on the fly if I'd like. This car came with basically everything, all the one-up racing stuff. So it came with the mount and everything, the front and the rear body post mounts, and just a plethora. All the one-up racing stuff. It has hubs in here, the one-up racing aluminum hubs behind these setup wheels. Here, I'll show you that. This car I scored for 550 bucks and just put my own radio system in it, my packs. These kits go for more than that. I don't know if you price these out. These are about 650 bucks. But that being said, it did come with the normal. So something to be aware about is that this kit, it came with the normal snafus of somebody else building the car. Things like this differential or spool was actually installed turned around backwards, so the belt alignment was not quite right. The turnbuckles were that you turned them opposite directions to make your adjustments in and out instead of facing the same direction. That is something that you kind of want to do, is make sure all of your turnbuckles are facing the same way. So I don't know if you can see it here, but I have all the notches facing the left side of the car per the instructions. Something else that was interesting about this car when I got it was it had every single spot filled up with the weights. And so this thing weighed so much. As it sits now, it actually meets the spec for most on-road road racing classes of about 1,300 grams with the body installed. But because of this light pack, I have to add weight to this side to even it up. A bit of a lighter servo would probably help that a little bit. And then I've been thinking about relocating the ESC to this side to balance out the payload a little better. Recently purchased the battery weights, so I'll probably just put the battery weights in there to even it up for now. The class that I run over at the Strickland RC Park is the 21.5. So I've got the 21.5. It luckily came in this car. It's in good shape. You can see none of the windings are burnt. That would be something you'd want to look for in a used car, is that the windings inside the motor are nice and copper colored, that it doesn't smell burnt. You'd want to check for slop in the steering servo. Make sure it centers up good. Obviously, beggars can't be choosers. If it's what you got, it's what you got. If you're going to be working on a car and you want to actually be competitive with it, one thing is that this servo has to center pretty good. So you're going to want to check that sort of thing, make sure nothing's loose. This car was assembled well, with the exception of the few snafus, the differential being flipped, and a couple of little build errors like that. I did have to put longer screws on these front body posts because they immediately ripped off. All right, so I did take this car out for one race, and I was completely off the pace. I was 2 seconds off. Kind of makes sense. I haven't pulled the trigger in 6 months on anything, let alone a race car. Hadn't had a car on a racetrack in, what, about 2 years? Like way back at those videos. I was kind of checking out some of the old videos from RCP out in San Diego at the Hobby Town, and heard my name called a couple times. That was kind of cool to get back. That's actually why I'm rebooting the channel, because it's a lot of fun. It's just so much fun that I can't stop. I am prepping for tomorrow, so I'm charging up my packs. So this is my race shell, by the way. It's already a little beat up because I'm not the best driver in the world. So there was a lot of crashing. In fact, that brings me up to my first point of this TC8. Touring cars are a little bit more fragile than they used to be. This thing, I didn't crash it real hard, and a couple of the things that kind of went bad were the upper deck kind of got a split in it. Both the front dog bones bent. One of the guys at the track was actually telling me that it was awesome that I got the steel chassis car, because they made the carbon chassis so fragile that they tend to, all the suspension mounts and stuff tend to pull out and the chassis tends to split. So if you're gonna be buying a TC8, your best bet is gonna be the steel chassis car. Just my personal recommendation. The steel chassis car is gonna be more durable than the carbon car, and the time trade-off in having the flexible car with a little bit more traction for asphalt racing is pretty negligible. So my recommendation is to go with a steel chassis car. Apparently it's kind of becoming the thing with touring cars anyways, to keep the center of gravity nice and low. So most modern touring cars are starting to come with steel chassis and an aluminum chassis plate. So, you know, keep with the times. I am prepping for practice tomorrow. I did not bring you guys with me to my first race. One, I was running into a little bit of time constraint. Two, to be honest, I was a little bit camera shy because it's been a while since I've been in front of the camera. And three, I did not want you guys to see me completely unpracticed. But tomorrow you're gonna see me with a tiny bit of practice, and I'll probably be bringing my DJI camera along with me, as well as my little GoPro, the ones that I've been using in my HD channel, my Harley Davidson channel. If you guys don't subscribe to that channel, pop on over to HD Quick Flicks. I'll leave a link below, that way you guys can check that out too, because I like motorcycles as well. So I guess I kind of lied about being behind the camera, but anyways, here's a better view of this car here. It's all set up and ready to race tomorrow. I got the wheels, the camber, 2 degrees negative camber, both ends. I've got 2 degrees toe in the back. I've got 2 degrees toe out in the front. The setup sheet that I used is for an asphalt type track. So hopefully I'll pick up some seconds off of my lap times last week, where I was running an average of 14 seconds at Strickland RC Park. It was like 14.5, 14.8 with a quick lap of like 13.8. Even sub 13 seconds, I believe. I can look up those lap times on MyLaps live, but it's really a moot point at the moment because of how beginnery I am. Back to being a beginner, guys. Yeah, we're over here at the Strickland RC Park. We got on-road, which I'm practicing today, and off-road. Pretty nice off-road track. Pretty nice pit area. We got power. We've got Roy. And over there's our crawler section. We'll check that out here in a little bit. Alright guys, it's almost time to start putting some laps down and see what we got. It doesn't look like they're going to be running the timing loop today, so it's going to be about driver feel. Alright. We took it out, ran it a little bit. It was understeering coming up into the, oversteering coming up into the corners. So I added a little bit of coast to the ESC via the over-the-air programmer. It still was a little loose on the back end, so I'm going to add half a degree of camber to the back and see if that helps. I might end up doing a little bit more towing. The track is pretty loose today, not very high tack. Alright, let's get to it. Alright guys, I went from 2 degrees of towing in the back to 3. Hopefully I can calm this car down just a hair. I got to take half a degree off that side and get some more practicing. Alright, I'm going to take you guys up to do some laps. Let's see how this goes.
But bro, here, check this out. If you keep your car and you're doing the fucking stuff, dude, like, feel my fucking car. You don't have to, you see how wet these things are? That's pretty much it. That's just gonna do that for the 15, 20 minutes. Like, when you're able to get the car, and like, what the excess. There's something else. This wheel is what? All coated. And it's going to go vertical. Like I said, it's 4,000 higher. That's why I want to say something easier. That's a great idea. Oh, you know what they have for the cases like that? So if you got any kind of spool on the wheels, you can put the spool on it. Put your back on it, put any on the wheel, and that's so good. I mean, that's like the main part of the running. Yeah, we should. It's probably the main.
Well, guys, we had some breakage. I don't know how this is gonna pan out, but what's your name again?
Landry.
Landry was telling me about
Michael's RC.
Michael's RC.
Altamonte.
It's about 45 minutes away.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
So I'm gonna pack up my stuff and make a trip. And actually, I should probably call them first. I'll give them a call, see what they got. All right, guys. That's probably it for this video. Peace. All right, guys. Well, I ended up over here at Michael's RC to get my parts. Called them up. They said that they had them. They got them behind the counter. Holy smokes! Look at this place. This place is awesome. It's about a 45-mile drive from Fort Orange. But holy moly, there's stuff. Look at all this. We got everything. Gotta zoom out to get this place. Holy moly. Wowzers. Bunch of associated venture stuff. Got all Tamiya paints. All the Arma, Tamiya, Baja 5B up there. Wow. This is quite the hobby shop. All the light kits for the Traxxas, batteries, motors, Max Slash down there, Drag Slash down there. All the light kits. All the kits. Look at this. Alright guys, I got what I needed. I just came down here to the Altamonte Mall. They've got Michael's RC, which is a crazy big RC shop. They've got all the Traxxas stuff. They got a bunch of the Tamiya stuff. I asked them about the TT02 type XRS or SRX or whatever. They did not have that. they did not have a TT08, a TA08R chassis either. So it's kind of good luck because I didn't really want to spend that money right now anyways. But you know, they did say that they could special order pretty much anything you want, so that's super awesome. And it's about 45 minutes out of Port Orange, so if you find yourself at Strickland and you break and you have a TC8 like me, you can get out there and you can get that part. So they had just about everything for that in stock. I was able to grab my knuckles, I got a little bit of oil, and I even hit the vending machine and got some Starbucks. So the day is saved. I'll be able to race tomorrow, and we're looking good. So time to get home, get this car fixed up, and you know, watch out for that live tonight as I'm fixing this car up. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Remember, give the video a thumbs up if you like it. You know, subscribe if you want to see all this stuff go down, and hopefully we can go tear up Strickland racetrack tomorrow and get some wins in. Alright, peace.